The whole week we have been talking about why do bad things happen to God's people, and we've been shifting that question away from the why to the how to respond when bad things happen. The truth is, as God's people, we have some powerful words that God has given us about dealing with stuff. And one of the most powerful things He's given us is, in fact, the abundance of grace. In Romans 5:17, it says, "It is by the abundance of grace and the gift of righteousness that we reign in this life." When we receive the abundance of grace, when we receive the gift of righteousness, we are able to reign and to overcome obstacles in our lives. What does that mean? Well, grace has this amazing ability to help us beyond our own strengths to do things. Now, that doesn't mean that we have to try so hard to access the grace, as much as it means we have to humble ourselves enough to receive the grace from Him. When we are facing a bad situation, we have a choice in that moment to say, "Lord, I cannot do this in my own strength, but I know that with your intervention, with your supernatural intervention, anything is possible." And that's why I like to say that grace is also a choice. We can choose either to be prideful and try and defend ourselves and try and say, "We've done everything right, we prayed right, we did this right," or we can say, "God is wrong and we're okay." Or we can just say, "Lord, I don't know. I don't know what the answer is to this situation. I don't know why this bad thing happened, but what I do know is I need more of your grace to help me in this situation." It says this as well in James 4:6, that God gives more grace. Therefore, it says God opposes the proud, but gives grace to the humble. And the question I want you to ask yourself, instead of asking, "Why is this bad thing happening to me? I'm one of God's people," is asking yourself, "Lord, how can I access more of your grace in this situation?" And the more you're able to ask and receive that, the more grace God gives you in that situation. The grace of God can help you overcome anything. The grace of God can help turn things for your good. So I want you to remember that right the way through this week. Essentially, what we're saying is, it's the wrong question to ask yourself, why are bad things happening to God's people? The better question is, how am I going to respond when bad things happen? How am I going to stick in that fight by focusing on the grace of God, by focusing on the Word of God, by leaning hard into that grace rather than leaning hard into accusatory questions around why these bad things are happening. And I want you to remember, you're highly favored and you're deeply loved.